And was it one of your dreams when you were going to films as a kid to go to a Hollywood party?
Oh yes, I mean Hollywood. When I was a child, it was another land. It was a million miles away. You know, never go there.
Yeah.
And when I did finally go, it was wonderful.
All right, we'll come to that. Farley, I don't suppose you ever dreamed of going to a Nuneaton party, but were 40s Hollywood parties as glamorous and as much fun as we read about them as being?
I think some of them were, yes. The best parties that I went to were the ones that Charlie Chaplin gave.
Really?
Yeah, because there were very interesting people there. I met Dylan Thomas and Christopher Isherwood, and Chaplin would get going, and he would never tell. He couldn't tell a story without standing up and acting it, and that was just very, very thrilling.
So you found the glamour not in the sort of the film star names, but in writers and poets.
Yes, a lot. Yeah.
Well, Diana, you lived in Hollywood. Did you find them as glamorous as you thought they were going to be?
Well, not as glamorous as we've just seen on the screen, but that was way back, wasn't it? I mean, I didn't get to Hollywood until the 50s, but I think the best parties I ever went to there were the ones that Jack Benny always used to throw on New Year's Eve. His New Year's Eve party was the party to go to, and everybody was there. And another glamorous party that I remember going was Rock Hudson's first and only wedding anniversary party. I think they split up pretty quickly after that, but it was a fabulous affair. I mean, they had their names floating in the pool. And then, of course, there was my own party where I was pushed in and created world headlines, but we won't go into that because it ruined my career for 10 years.
Where did you used to go and see these films? What was the cinema?
Well, there was 7 in my town. There was the Scala, the Palace, the Hippodrome, the Regal, and I practically lived in the cinema when I was a child.
But did you have a favourite person to go to the cinema with, or did you go on your own?
My sister.
Your sister?
My sister used to take me, yes. I used to play up, you know, till she took me. And I never went at school. They used to go mad at school because I never went to see a cowboy film, you know.
Yeah.
It was always something like Joan Crawford in Chains. Or Forsaking All Others. Yeah. You see, it was all this sort of thing. The kids used to say, are you going to the pictures? Yes. What are you going to see? I said, San Francisco with Jeanette MacDonald. He said, oh no, Tim McCoy's at the picture. You know, something like that. I was always, you know, up there rather with films, you know.
Yeah. I know used to say when they play cowboys and Indians, he was never a cowboy or an Indian. He was the lady in the end wagon having a baby. I know that. Tell us, Larry, just how strongly you feel about Laurel and Hardy.
Well, I think they're the greatest of any comedy team.
But you've gone to all sorts of lengths because of them.
Yes, well, I went to Hollywood because of them, to a Laurel and Hardy convention 2 years ago. And most of you have seen the film The Music Box, where they took the piano up the steps, you know, to the top.
Yes.
Well, I actually walked up those steps, went to their house and walked up the steps and, you know...
Pilgrimage, yeah.
Absolutely, I adore them. And I think today they're just as popular and as funny as like when I saw them when I was a child.
Well, let me ask each of you, which just remembering back, and I know it's difficult on the spur of the moment, which film has given you the most gulpy moment that you can remember? Farley, a moment that has really choked you.
Well, I would say a long time ago, the film that moved me the most, I mean, I just was dissolved all the way through it, was a motion picture called Brief Encounter.
Oh, yeah.
With Trevor Howard
and Celia Johnson.
And I've never forgotten, I saw it about 8 times.
Yeah.
It was dissolved.
Cried every time.
Right.
Di, a moment from a film.
A moment. There's so many moments, aren't there? Well, aside from the obvious one, which was Clark Gable crying when his child was killed in Gone with the Wind, with the rain streaming down the road. I think everybody cried at that. But I think the one that really got to me was in A Man for All Seasons with Paul Scofield, who is so brilliant anyway. And he's in the Tower of London, and his wife, Wendy Hillier, comes to see him, and he's trying to placate her by saying, "That's a lovely dress you're wearing, my dear," and she says, "Well, mind." And it was so human for somebody like Thomas More to do, you know, and it just completely dissolved me. I know it sounds a silly moment, but
now, Larry, you were in perpetual tears all through your adolescence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But was there? Can you recall just one?
I started the Kleenex thing. Yes. Yes.
so grateful.
One particular moment.
Well, there was many, really, Dennis, but when Merle Oberon died in Wuthering Heights, but the one that finishes me for all time is when Judy Garland comes out in A Star is Born and says, "This is Mrs. Norman Maine." And I'm go. That's I can't say another thing. I'm go.